Hi everybody, welcome to this month's edition of Civil Engineering Today. Yesterday marks the opening of the pre-registration for a competition that I happen to be the New England coordinator for, called the Future City Competition. And I have a special guest here today, the winners of last year's Future City Competition. They called their team Terracures, and they are from Belmont, New Hampshire, all the way down from Belmont, New Hampshire. And we have Eric, and we have Carl, and we have Malia. And they are our guests today on the show. And I'm going to ask them a little bit of questions about last year's and maybe a couple questions about the upcoming year. All schools in Boston. So far we have 4 teams from Boston in, and I'd like to see many more come and join. And if this thing gets circled around and you're from another community and you see this, please contact www.engineeryourfuture.org, and you can get a hold of me and you can register for the contest. Or just futurecity.org, and you can register for the contest. And I'd like to welcome you guys to the show. So, first question for you guys. You guys came up with a very interesting city last year that was all based on healthcare, which was the theme of the city. Do you want to tell me a little bit of some of the ideas you guys came up with for Terracures? Leah, if you want to start?
Well, we wanted a city where everybody could feel comfortable and safe, you know? So
right.
Carl might want to answer.
Well, we decided that to develop a city that was comfortable and safe, we had to start with healthcare and making it a good place for people to live. And so we focused on that as being a key portion of our city. And we designed the several healthcare buildings that are designed to help people and stay healthy,
right,
so they can continue to contribute to the workforce.
And you guys weren't just thinking about hospitals. What were some of the buildings that you put up there for having people take care of their health?
Well, we had a hospital for one, and a pharmacy right next to it with all 24/7 accessibility, and we also had a recreational center with a pool for physical therapy and a training room.
You guys had something about a pen, if I remember right. What was this pen? It was named after, we should say, 2 of your team members are not on screen right now. Paige isn't here and Casey isn't here right now. Well, Paige is here, but just a little bit off the screen. Hi, Paige. So, what was the name of the pen?
The Norquist 79.
Right.
Named after Paige.
Named after Paige.
Because that's her last
It was
name.
a laser
Right.
that destroyed cancer cells.
Right. So this pen would actually destroy cancer cells, and something with a bed. What was the bed?
The Aerotech bed, I am pretty sure.
The Aerotech bed had a system in it to where it propels air up through the bed, sort of like a hockey table would, so it lifts the patient off the bed so they can be relieved from pressure sores.
Okay, I was waiting to tell you guys this, but you guys know that I went into the hospital shortly after coming back, right?
Oh, yeah.
Did I ever tell you that there was a bed very similar to that? The bed kept on moving around, and it didn't stay still to keep the blood circulating so it wouldn't pond up. It was very, I mean, not really cool to be in the hospital, but it was really cool to see you guys were onto something. You guys are onto a piece of technology that's really being developed, and you guys took it one step further. You actually had everybody floating up in the air just off the top instead of something just moving around. But I was in there and I was just thinking, I was thinking about you guys while in the hospital. I just wanted you to. So you guys went first. I want to try to trace the steps. You guys started early in the year, somewhere around like September or October. And what's I know that the first thing you guys probably did involves the SimCity computer program, right?
Yeah.
Well, how did you guys go about doing that?
Well, the first thing we did was we decided who, first of all, wanted to be on each part of the Future City competition. And I was one of the people who was leading the Future City design of the SimCity model. And so what we did was we started with a basic design, you know, on the chalkboard, where, okay, we're going to lay out the city in such and such a way. And we took one of our blocks of land and decided where things were going to go. And then once we had done that, we actually started to build things and put in hospitals, schools, police stations and fire stations, things like that.
When you were making the layout, what kind of things were you trying to get? Is it like different, different parts of the city have different functions? Was that the idea?
Yep, different parts of the city, there are different areas for people to live in, which are farther away from the industrial areas,
Makes
so
sense.
pollution doesn't travel as far. The commercial areas are sort of in between, so people can get to their jobs.
Yeah, what are the other parts? Do you guys make something? Is there like a industrial part?
Yep, there is an industrial part of the city. That is where we make a lot of the products for our medical, like the Norkowitz 79 and the Aerotech bed.
So those are international sellers.
Yeah.
Right. That's the major product of your town.
Yep.
And how you guys made money. So once you got this computer model laid out, so then what was the next phase? What did you do? Did you guys sort of stop that? Like the computer model comes to an end and you jumped into another phase, or was everything happening at the same time?
Well, at the beginning, everybody was basically on the computer model. Well, not everybody, was sort of half and half. And during that time, for like about a month or two, everybody was bringing in materials for the model part, where we built a section of the city. And so everybody did work on the computer model in a way, and the same with the physical model.
That makes total sense. So now the physical model that you talk about, which we haven't really talked about the physical model yet, you are building it. You're looking at the computer model and you're making your model to. Is it the whole thing, or do you just pick your favorite piece? So how do you know what you want to make for your future model? I mean, for your physical model.
Well, basically what we do is we take a portion of the computer city, and we use that sort of as the structural background. So if we had it, like, for instance, around a hospital, we could include that, or we could not include that. And if it was basically the structural backbone of it.
Right. So you guys, you're right. It's the heart of the city is what you were trying to get captured in there. So how'd you make it? What was the steps in like what'd you make it out of? I remember what you made it out of.
Recycled materials, mostly.
What was some of them? What were some of the parts that you guys pulled in?
We used Easter eggs. We used plastic cups. We used an old plywood board for the ground. We used a cake box top. We used straws. What else did we use? We used wire. We used a motor.
A motor? A working motor?
Yeah, it did work.
Okay, how did the motor work? What did the motor do?
Well, below the city, we had a methane and recycling center. So
Okay, not real methane.
No, no, that would be very smelly. But what happened was that the methane would go in and we would filter it out, all of the bad stuff, so we could burn it and use it as fuel and electricity.
So it actually functioned? What did it do? So the motor, what did the motor actually, like what did it look like when you were in it?
Well, we took the motor from an old RC car, and so it was a little wheel with pieces of wood attached to it, sort of like a gear.
Yep.
So, and a fan, so when it spun, the air would circulate around, and all the chemicals and gases would get sucked out from these 4 pods that would clean it, would send it to the burning area, and would eventually use it as fuel and electricity.
That's beautiful. So, after that, you guys went to the New England regional competition. You guys, oh wait, we left out one thing. Presentation, which was a beautifully scripted, beautiful job on your presentation. Involved like crazy things like banana peels.
That was fun.
Or not even a banana peel, it was actually a fake banana.
Yep.
So how'd you guys come up with that? What was some of the thoughts behind all that?
Well, when they were practicing, I was putting the decorations on the city at the time, and when they were practicing, they were going to do scripted thing after thing after thing, but I came up with the idea of putting in a small skit at the beginning to get them started off to catch the judge's attention.
It was good. It worked. It was very good.
And then somebody dropped the banana on the ground and it just kind of got worked in.
Right. Oh, the banana was a real banana drop? Or did that part of the
No,
script?
it was a fake banana. It was one of the, we had a big box of recycled materials that we had been using to work on the city. So we were kind of going through that, do we want to put anything else in? We didn't, and the banana just kind of fell on the ground, and I don't know, we started making jokes about it, and it just kind of turned into something.
Isn't that about the weirdest piece of recycled? Someone was recycling a plastic banana in the first place, and you guys, it's just really bizarre in the first place. So you guys came to New England. What do you guys think of, I know you guys are actually not from Boston. You guys are pretty far. Where exactly is Belmont, New Hampshire, anyway?
Well, it's just a tad north of Concord, New Hampshire, the capital. So it's around Laconia, that area.
Right, and I'm really glad you guys took the trip and coming all the way down.
So are we.
Yeah, it's awesome having you guys.
fun.
Really, it's
Yeah.
great.
It was.
Did you guys? So that day, what kind of things happened at the day of the competition? What'd you guys do?
Well, we pretty much focused on having like a great time, and like we were taking advantage of all the fun, all the pizza and the cans that were there, building things out of that. And we're putting final touches on it, and people were asking us questions about our city, and we were having a great time. We were pretty sure that we weren't going to win because there were some really great cities there.
There was some amazing models at that thing. And your model was amazing too in a different way, but there was some that were just like really nicely crafted. But of course, as you guys figured out, like, and you guys didn't win in the model category, but you didn't do bad either. And the trick was that you guys just closely followed the rules. You didn't do much more above what the rules said. And this is a good strategy. If anybody's listening from any of the teams, you guys were onto something very important. You looked at what was required, and you did what was required, and you didn't get very fancy on it. And it's funny, you were kind of using as your catchphrase all the time, talking about New Hampshire and using how that's how New Hampshire works, is with all the
all the recycled materials.
Right. That's it. You just put things together with the cheapest way possible, and it worked. It really worked. And some of the other models were like beautifully crafted. So you guys. But what you guys didn't realize is that, in judging the essay, that's another thing we haven't talked about. I shouldn't call it an essay. I promised I would never call it an essay. And when I go down in June to get the finalized things, I'm going to get the word essay, if possible, taken out of it. That is not an essay. You guys are just creating a project, right? It's not an essay. You're creating, you're figuring out a way to solve something. That's not what an essay does.
Essay is too formal.
Right, way too formal for my taste. But it was some beautiful writing. So you guys had an advantage before coming in, and then you worked it very well. You worked the creations, that pen and the bed, very well into your presentations. And that was something that you guys should really be commended for, and that's how you guys won it. And you guys won it by taking the time and reading the rules. And that's something great that you guys did. This year, we've got some twists that are going to go in this year. First off, when you guys, even though I think you're the only one who can be back because you two are 8th graders, but 1 out of 3 isn't bad, or out of 4, out of 5. What grade is Casey in?
6th.
Oh, we got Casey for years.
Yeah.
So next year when you come, it's Northeastern University has offered to put together some very well-constructed activities that the students will be running in between. So you know how you guys were stacking up the cans and doing fun things like that? Mm-hmm. We'll have lots more activities happening. That's one of the big pluses that I'm looking forward to this year. And the second big plus is that we have a new theme to the contest that was just announced. And I told you guys about it very shortly. It is all about...
Fitness?
Nope, fitness is gone.
Oh.
I thought it was going to be fitness. That's what I thought. But it is alternative energy. So what do you guys, I don't want to put you guys on the spot, but I want to watch you guys, how you guys think, because I think this would be something really cool. Alternative energy that isn't something that's already done, alternative energy to the future. Tough question. Do you guys got any good thoughts about types of energy, where we could get energy from that we've never captured energy before?
Well, what comes to mind is that, you know how some planets are just gas mostly?
Yeah, yeah.
Like Jupiter?
Right.
Well, has anybody thought that Jupiter's gas is flammable? Is it?
I don't know.
It might be, and maybe we could like collect it and use that as fuel.
Oh my God, space farming of energy. It's something amazing. It's something to think about. Anybody else got any other great things? Anything happening here on Earth, underwater, out in the sky? Anything that people haven't thought of? I tell you, adults tend not to think near as out of the box as you guys do. You guys can, I'm counting on you guys to save the world in the future. Any other thoughts?
I have another one. I have a creative mind. Well, maybe what we could do is that we could drill far into the earth or just collect magma from a volcano, and we could use that instead of nuclear power, and we could... Just
the heat, not the magma itself, or just the heat from the magma?
We could use the heat from the magma to turn water into steam, which is basically what nuclear energy does.
It's funny, steam has been, I've had a lot of talks about steam in the recent, like that people are thinking that it's like the form of energy that everybody kind of was always dumping on. And it's been having a real lot more talk than I've been hearing in the past. You guys heard of something called steampunk? A phrase called steampunk?
I've heard of that.
Right, and it's very popular. And you can make really cool things, and a lot of people are getting into trying to make modern things like electric guitars and powering them off of, or powering up of steam, and crazy things like that. And there's actually a museum. We had the director of the museum on the show not that long ago, and it's the museum, it's the Charles River Museum of Industry and Innovation, and they do a lot of features on steampunk. And it's something that would be really cool to see integrated in design. So when you talk about steam, you could really make something beautiful involving steam. So I hope that you guys are getting excited about next year's contest. And this is the perfect time. I know you guys were like among the first 4 teams to register for next year, and that's great that you guys are already back in. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the Boston schools coming in and all the schools from all over. I know that I've been talking 4 schools. I know we call it New England, Future City, but we never really had Rhode Island, Connecticut, Maine, or Vermont in the past, but I guess we got 4 schools from Rhode Island, and I have been told that Connecticut's coming close, and I got a vague reference that we might be getting a team from Maine. I'm gonna have to work on that. So the competition's gonna be getting even bigger and more teams, but I know you guys are welcoming that. You guys were a very small team and did a lot of amazing things for a team of 5. Some of the schools had teams of 30. And that's something really to be commended, that you guys could do it with such a small crew. Did you guys find any trouble with teamwork at all? Like, did you guys, at least when I saw you guys down in DC, everything seemed to really flow. How did it go? Did you guys like very easily break up the parts, and did it all work out?
Pretty easily we were able to distribute the work and all get it done. There were some parts where we both had different ideas, or all of us had different ideas on how to run something or how we should make part of the model, for example. And so we'd come to some compromises, but other than that, it was pretty smooth.
That's awesome to hear, because teamwork is really the key to everything, teamwork and communication. And I know that's in the engineering world, that's just as important as anything. I know people focus on all the, the important thing about engineering is to know a lot of math and science, but I think communication and teamwork is equally as key as those learning tools that you learn through school that you incorporate. And that was just a great thing. So the last step that you guys did, first off, how did it feel when you guys won? Were you guys totally surprised?
Really?
Very.
That's good.
We all
Some of us
freaked out
cried.
and called our friends.
That's the way. That's what it's all about. It's not all about winning, but it's all about just pouring your hearts into it. And if you win, it's a bonus. Because I really run the thing just to be fun. I want everybody to have fun in learning. And that's what my whole idea behind everything is. But from there, when you win, where'd you guys get to go?
Washington, D.C.
Right. So what happens down there when you get to go to Washington, D.C.?
Well, what happens is that you get a paid flight, you get paid hotel rooms, and the competition is sort of held in the hotel.
Right. What do they do for you at the competition? Like, is it? I know the competition part was kind of intense. It took a lot of time, but there was plenty of other things you did. What are some of the things you guys did in D.C.?
We toured around, and that was a lot of fun. That was my favorite part, touring DC.
My favorite was the Smithsonian.
Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
it was fun.
Which part?
The science one?
Yeah, I love, oh, it's so big. So, oh my God, we're coming to almost the end of the show. So I want to thank you guys for coming all the way down here and being the guests. And I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. And I know that you two and Paige are going to be back as mentors and help out the Eric and Casey and whoever comes in as the new crew. And hope to see you back. I know I'm going to see you back when it comes the weekend after Martin Luther King Day. So I want to make one quick announcement to everybody watching the show, is that if you go to school, if you have kids that go to school, if you're a teacher, no matter who you are, now is the time. Go to www.engineeryourfuture.org and register. All it takes is a minimum of 3 students and a teacher. And once you register, I will find your school an engineer mentor, or if you have your own, that's great too. That will help you with the competition. And you register, and if you register by the end of June, I wrote a book this year that I plugged on the last show, and I will send a free copy of that book when you register. And I can't wait to see more schools from Boston and everywhere joining the New England Future City competition, and then some lucky winner gets to go down to DC. And the winners in DC get to go to Space Camp in Huntsville, Alabama, and get to go a bunch of other places that are never expected, like meeting the president, and they got to talk with the people out in the International Space Station. All kinds of prizes happened for the winners of the entire national competition. They were spent like 15 minutes in with the President of the United States, which is amazing. So everybody, thank you for watching the show, and I'll see you on the next episode of Civil Engineering Today, and thank you very much, you guys. Thanks.